Periods, because let's be honest, those things are annoying. Like, I'm a girl, clearly, and they annoy the hell out of me. So, periods. It's that time of the month. You may as well get yourself a robe, a cup of tea, and put yourself into hibernation for like a week, because you're basically good for nothing. Well, at least that's how I feel. When I started my period really early. I feel like I was in elementary school when I actually started. So I was like the oddball out, like the only girl running to the class, like to the bathroom out of class to go like put on a pad or whatever. So yeah, it can be really stressful if you start your period early, because you feel like you're in on this little secret and none of your friends know about. So if you are that young and you're starting your period that early, just remember, like, realize that you're not like weird. It's not uncommon, and you're just cooler than everybody else. Your homegirls will catch up. Don't worry about them. When I got into middle school and early high school, actually, I started having really bad cramps associated with my period, which was really bad. Like, I literally was out of commission. I remember I used to miss days of school because of my period. It was not good. So to combat that, I actually went to a gynecologist pretty early, maybe my first year of high school, and found out that, you know, that's something that just happens with some women in periods. Like, there was nothing wrong with me. My cramps were just really severe, and they actually prescribed me birth control. Yeah, so like at 14 or 15, I was on birth control. And the birth control actually, one, helps regulate your period. If your period is all wacky and just out of the ordinary, birth control can help regulate your period. And it also helped me, it like soothed, well, they didn't go away, but my cramps weren't as bad as they used to be. So if you have like really bad cramps or really irregular periods, and you are of a certain age, maybe 14, 15, 16, and you want some way to kind of like close that in and just deal with it, you might want to talk to your mom or whoever you live with and ask them about maybe going to see a OBGYN to see if birth control could be a help to that. Because I remember I used to get my cramps on my period and I'd just be like, no, I can't go, no, I'm not ready. I could not do anything. No matter how old you are, if you're just starting your period or you've been having it for like a couple of years, there's no need for you to feel ashamed about having your period or feel ashamed when you are on your period. I know girls tend to like close up and section themselves off, and there's no need to be that way. Like, all girls get their periods. Like, everybody, every other girl you know knows what you're going through. There's no reason to feel ashamed. And if you have a nice like group of friends that are girls, or even if you're really close with your mom or like your sister, you should always feel like you can talk to them, or ask me, inbox me, and, you know, ask your questions. I will definitely answer them. But if you need advice on your period, always go to people, women close to you. And I know it can be kind of weird if you're like in school and you're starting your period and you have a male teacher and you don't really want to like have those conversations with him. Go up to your male teacher, and guys understand, older guys understand. Like, little boys, they're assholes. Like, they are rude as shit and they'll make fun of you, and that's because that's the way they are. They're stupid and they're just childish. But even if it's your male teacher, if you go up to him and you honestly say, look, you know, I'm having woman problems, if you say something like that, or maybe like it's that time of the month, like pull him to the side. Don't feel embarrassed, oh my gosh. But if you just say stuff like that, you know, he'll excuse you, or, you know, let you go to the nurse. Like, if he's one of those teachers that asks, oh, why do you need to go to the nurse? Just like pull him to the side and explain to him, like, yeah, I need to go to the nurse. Another tip would to be in school to take like a period pack, like that's what I'm gonna call it, or a woman pack, where you have all the things that you need to kind of like deal with your period, and leave it in your locker or leave it in the bottom of your backpack, just in case you do have periods that are like irregular or you're not exactly sure when it's gonna come. And if you guys want like a tutorial or like what to put in my period pack, so you know what to have in there in case you come on your period at school, let me know in the comments below and I'll definitely put out that video for you guys. Another period tip is to just keep yourself clean, girls. I mean, I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but when we are on our periods, you know, we have to do extra things to keep ourselves clean. So another thing that you can do other than just showering on a daily basis when you're on your period is carry little wipes, which I'm going to talk about later in the video, but I use these. They're Summer Eve cleansing cloth. I use these when I'm on my period just to keep like extra clean throughout the day when I go change my tampon or whatever. Another little tip that I have as far as like cramps and stuff is to stay ahead of your pain. Doctors tell you this when like there's something like really wrong with you. You go to the hospital, it's like, stay ahead of your pain. I never knew what the hell that meant until like, you know, I actually, like I had my wisdom teeth pulled and like I take the medicine before I need it so I could give the medicine time to like kick in. So like at the slightest hint of feeling cramps, take a Motrin or like just whatever pain medicine works best for you. Okay, so now I'm just going to go through the differences between like pads, tampons, and panty liners, what you use them for, and like the pros and cons of each. So first I'm going to start with pads. I actually don't have an example of a pad because unfortunately I do not use them. I used to use them when I first started my period, so like when I was younger in elementary school, middle school, but pads come in a number of absorbencies. I think they come in regular, they might come in light, regular, heavy, and then like really heavy. And I personally, my personal experience, I've never had a really heavy flow period. I always use the normal, like regular absorbency pads, and when I used to wear pads, I used Always. I really liked their packaging, which sounds crazy, but I really liked their packaging. And when I first started using pads and everything, I feel like they were the only ones that seemed cool. Everything else seemed a little old lady-ish. And they also had like the wings, and I really like the wings on pads because I realized that when like I sit back or when I lay down or like as I moved around, if I was in gym or something like that, the pad would move around too, and it would get all like crumpled up on my underwear, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you're supposed to be protecting me and you're like in a knot ball in my underwear. Well, not a knot ball, but you get the point. So Always had wings, and the wings allowed you to fold them over under the bottom of your underwear and basically secure the pad to your underwear. It was like a lock on your underwear. So I really like that. But a lot of brands come with wings now. I just preferred Always. Pads are always what I feel like personally the best for beginners because you don't really have to worry about things. I didn't like the way pads felt. To me, they kind of felt diapery, but it's easier to take care of. Now, panty liners. Panty liners are great. They are what I use now instead of pads because I'm on the birth control. My periods are normally lighter and they are more regulated, so I know exactly when they're coming. So like the day before, I might start just wearing panty liners just to catch any spotting or anything like that. I use these Carefree, what does that say? Acti Fresh, and these are the body shape ones, and they're the regular like little to-goes. They're unscented. Hint, never wear scented panty liners, tampons, or pads because when that mixes with your body and the period, it smells like garbage. That's just, trust me. And for all my girls who don't know what a panty liner looks like, it comes like this, all cute and pink. And you basically just open it up and it looks like that. So it's pretty much just a baby pad. Like, it's super thin and it's for, you know, the very end of your period or when you have very light flow days, or like I said, the very beginning of your period when you just need to protect yourself from spotting. I like them. They work for me, especially for just, even if I'm wearing a tampon, if, you know, I'm worried that something might like leak out or something like that, which tampons are really kind of good at avoiding, but just in case, I'll wear one of those also. I guess the only con to panty liners are the fact that they don't absorb a whole bunch, so it's not something that you can rely on for a full-blown period. And so now that brings me to tampons. And tampons are, I hate to say this, but the most dangerous option, I guess, of period protection. And that is only because with tampons, you have the worry of TSS, which is toxic shock syndrome. Trust me, that shit scared me from like elementary school till maybe the I don't know. I'm still fucking scared of that shit now. In all these little boxes though, they have a pamphlet in it talking about toxic shock syndrome, and that scared me since I was a little fucking kid. Which is why earlier in this video I said that tampons are best like saved and like hold off until you're older and more responsible about changing your tampon like every 4 hours or something like that. But aside from that huge downside to wearing tampons, tampons are amazing. They also come in different absorbencies, regular, light, heavy, and super. And oh, look, this one comes in ultra. That's nasty. Basically what a tampon is this. I think this is, yeah, this is my Tampax Pearl. So it comes in a little packaging, and you basically open it up like this. You take it out, and this is what a tampon looks like. Ladies, if you're just starting your period or whatever, I always get the plastic applicators. They are smoother, they tend to be a little bit thinner, and it's just easier to insert and a lot more comfortable. So you take this and you put it down there, and then you push this bottom part, and it has a string hanging out. You push this bottom part, and it basically pushes the tampon up into your cooch, and then you pull this, like, so say this is your cooch, it's like in your cooch now, and then you pull this part off and you're left with this string hanging. I normally kind of like fold the string up or whatever, so it's not just hanging out of my underwear or whatever, but that's basically what it is, and this is what's inside to absorb your period. As far as this, you can put it back in here once you're done with it, and you throw this in the trash. Tampons you can flush down the toilet, which is a great thing. Pads you have to like roll up and put in that little sanitary thing, which I never liked. I love Tampax Pearl. It is the only tampons that I use. I only use regular. As far as the pros of tampons, I feel like they're just cleaner. You never really have to deal with, because when you take off a pad, like it's all just right there in the pad, and you have to roll it up and, you know, put in that little thing. Tampons, you don't ever have to deal with that. You kind of just pull it out and drop it in the toilet, and then you're done. It's not sitting there. The thing I hated about pads was that like your period comes out and it's on the pad and it's just sitting there and you're sitting on top of it. That's what I really meant by like diapery. Other than the way it felt, like you're just sitting on it all day, and I didn't like that. The downside to tampons would be the frequency that you need to change them, the worry of toxic shock syndrome, and that's it. But I feel like as far as portability, is that even a word? I feel like as far as being able to carry them around and them being more discreet, they are a lot more discreet than pads. So the last little thing I want to talk about before I get into like how you can help yourself just through your period are these things, and they are the Summer Eves cleansing cloths. Now this comes in a sheer floral scent. This is the only kind I buy, but you cannot really smell the floral scent. I just take these with me. I have a couple stashed in my purse at all times to just use when I'm on my period. If you're wearing pads, I'm sorry, I had like a brain fart. When you're wearing pads, you'll probably definitely love this, because I remember wearing pads after you change your pad and then you like wipe yourself or whatever. Like, I mean, it's fine, but it's toilet paper, it's dry. This, however, is wet, so it's kind of like you're getting a little clean sensation, and you can kind of clean everything up that may have been like down there while you were sitting on your pad and just waiting. So I definitely like these, and I definitely recommend these. Ooh, that's not focusing. Number one is drink tea. I feel like I'm a tea fanatic. I feel like tea solves everything. If you're having stomach issues, I definitely suggest peppermint tea, because that is known to soothe stomach issues, cramping, and just upset stomachs in general. Number two would be to get a heating pad. If you have really bad cramps, heating pads and just heat in general on the area tends to relax the muscles and soothe it out. So heating pads definitely help. Number three is magazines. If it is one of those days that you just can't leave the house and you don't feel like moving off the couch, have some magazines handy and occupy your time, take naps, and just rest. Number four is to chart out your periods. This is the best way to avoid like, messes in your underwear and just like, you know, being surprised when your period comes and know when to expect something and when I need to go to the store to get more tampons or pads or panty liners or whatever. Another idea for my younger girls who may be a little embarrassed to go get your own pads and stuff like that, or for people who just forget and always wind up like with one pad or one tampon when their period starts, is to sign up for one of those period subscription things. I know they're pretty inexpensive, probably like $15 or $16, and every month, like right before your period starts, they send you a box full of like tampons, pads, or whatever you choose. I think one's called like Juniper, one's called Cotton Bunny, one's called Le Parcel, and I think the other one is called like Bonjour Jolie or something like that. So that's definitely an option. I'll leave their information in the description box below. And that's all the advice I have, guys. If you have some questions about periods or just some things you want to ask me or suggestions of more girl talk videos like this, let me know in the description box below. If you want to get in contact with me, all my information will be in the description box below. And until next time, ladies, bye.